defense.
What up? Welcome back. We're live on Split the Defense, LEAFS post-game, presented by Laforest Electrical Contractors, serving the Kingston and surrounding area since 2004. I'm Jordan Webster with Craig Pearce and producer Ted Evans in the booth. Game 51. Leafs can't come back, so they lose 2-1 to the Minnesota Wild, who don't even have Kirill Kaprizov. Kind of a disappointment, to be honest. There was a push at the end, but overall a disappointment. What are your thoughts on this game, CP? Where do we start? Where do we break this one down? Because, you know, I don't have much to say, and I have a few things to say all at the same time.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I feel like, am I supposed to be, like, taking the leap off the bridge here, or am I supposed to just, like, relax a little bit? And I don't know. It's hard for me to gauge, but I feel like I hate this team, but at the same time, I'm always trying to tell myself, don't overreact. It's the middle of the season. But haven't I been saying that to myself for like 8 years now? So
Patterns.
Yeah.
You don't want to follow that same pattern.
I go through cycles as a fan of this team, as it's probably displays on this podcast.
So
I didn't really
Miller
lead you anywhere, though.
Miller thinks that it's the Shoresy vibe. It's not that they don't love to win, it's that they don't hate to lose.
Honestly, that just like hits it right on the head right there. You know, it's like, and I don't, there's parts of this team that I just don't really get. Like, they have so much trouble getting up and like putting on like all 100% effort without like some sort of a factor coming into it. And like they score and they get a Willie goal. And then like all of a sudden they just have legs, you know? And it's like, I don't know. Yeah. It's the point where when they see the win in sight, they can push for it. But like when they're feeling down and low, they're just, they're A-okay to just kind of pack it in and lose. So yeah.
But how much does this, you know, again, how much do we take into these games? Wins and or losses, lines and or chemistry when you're missing key players in John Tavares and Matthew Nyes?
It's true. Like when you have Holmberg as a second line center, that's like you look at the lineup
The
right
fuck
now,
do you
man.
expect?
Yeah, and it's just like, this is a bad lineup. Like, I look at a lot of lineups because of fantasy hockey. I'm always trying to look at, like, oh, who's the guy that's going to benefit from something? And I look at, like, Pontus Holmberg on a second. Does he have a chance to really produce something that, like, no. It's friggin' Pontus Holmberg. Like, and this is a guy who's, like, he's played too many games, too. Like, he's a guy who I think benefits from being scratched a lot. Because, like, I always say that he plays better when someone's, like, on his back and he's just trying to prove himself. And so, like, yeah, him as a second line center, he's not going to produce. Like, I don't know. Yeah, it is a sad thing to look at the moment. And there is a bit of that for sure. But at the same time, like when you watch Matthews and Marner just basically piss away the game, like how many like sloppy backhand passes through the zone with an empty net did they make through the neutral zone? Mm-hmm. Like I just like every one of them I wanted to puke. It's just like, dude, like Marner's in particular, they just pulled a goalie and he does this sloppy, slow pass across the neutral zone. And it's just like, dude, like that is not okay. Like I would rather you just like dump it in, just anything but that, man.
Takes it back up the ice and fucks it up, and they scored a goal anyways immediately after that.
Yeah, it was like 30 seconds later they scored, yeah. From a Matthews fuck up. So like the two of them together. Or no, actually no, it was a Marner one again. There was a Matthews in between. Matthews made one in between.
Marner
but
was the ultimate
Marner
one
again.
At the end.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Just too lackadaisical. But again, when you get those guys back, things are going to look different. Everybody's going to slot down. There was a couple posts hit tonight. Like, Willie hit a post. Willie hit a post, and then he scored a goal. His 29th of the year, by the way. It's pretty good. He's on a 46 goal pace right now. So he could still hit 50. He could still rip those numbers up. But the point is that they hit posts. They could have won this game if not for, a couple of inches. It's like that in almost every game, though. it's not that they didn't play well, all in all. Did you think that it was a terrible, horrible lack of effort performance?
No, no. I thought there was a little bit of like there was a little lacking as far as like intensity. But I thought that they were playing okay. You know, like it's also like in the very beginning of the game, the two goals, like you could go the other way. And it's like this could have been a 0-0 game going into the third because you have like a really bad play by Riley, weak play on the boards. That should not ever get in front of the net at that point. And then like a tip, like Matthews tips it into his own net. And so like I feel like Wald should have had the tip either way. Like he's in the right position. He's just like scrambling a little bit. But yeah, it's just like the other way. It could be 0-0, but like this team just cannot score 5-on-5, man. It's just like literally every time they get an opportunity, it's
Well,
like so shocking when they pass it through the zone and someone gets like a some sort of a chance. I'm like, oh my God. Like that's like it shouldn't be that shocking to me. Most opportunities, they either don't shoot when they should, or they're like or the same thing. They're not shooting and they're throwing it in the middle for just like a weak opportunity. I don't know, man. Not a lot
they
for
are
me.
getting the opportunities, so that's the thing. They just aren't capitalizing on them. They aren't finishing in the right areas. They're not a great passing team. That's well known.
Yeah.
Any fan who licks into this podcast, anybody who's listening to us right now knows this team isn't very good at passing the puck.
Are they good at
And
anything?
they're a firing squad, right? Like, so if you look at their fancy stats, I'm on Natural Stat Trick right now. Their expected goals are 54.7 tonight. So, do you hear
Percent?
me twice?
No,
Yeah.
I don't. I hear you once.
Okay, maybe I'm just echoing. All right.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you go through the whole list in 5-on-5, they won all of their chances. They got more scoring chances. They got more high danger chances. The Corsi and the Fenwick. I don't even fucking know what those are. I think Corsi's where you carry it over. Fenwick is, I don't know who he is, but he's probably a cool dude. But expected goals, everything that you look in fancy stats category is on the Leafs side. They are getting into the zones. They are creating. They just aren't finishing. And what they keep doing is they keep trying to put finishers on lines to get things to happen when they just need to go out and get some guys, more guys like Marner and Domi. Like guys who pass the puck. I know, like Bobby McMahon is fucking great, but it's not working up there. Why wouldn't you try somebody who can pass the puck up there? And oh well, because Max Domi and this and that, and we need him here or we don't want him there. Well, then get another option. We need another option. We need more guys who can facilitate these plays to happen. Because if you're getting in these areas and the puck's getting into the right spot, but you just need an extra touch, an extra guy that can see that this needs to happen, like everybody just can't shoot the puck is my whole point. You can't just get it in the
Yeah.
zone, get into a high danger area, fire it on net and expect it to go in. You still need to make a play to beat the goalie, right? Whether you go through all of these fancy stats and expected goals and the high danger chances, they're getting in there. They're getting close. They're just not actually making good enough plays to capitalize. And again, a couple of the times it was posts tonight, and like just barely missing the net by inches, and could have went the other way. It could have went the other way. And there's injuries and there's lots of reasons to say why it didn't happen and why it wouldn't happen again. But like there was no Kirill Kaprizov on the other side either. So like how
Yeah.
much is that to even it out?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like to just kind of go back like a minute and to what you were saying. And like I do feel like you're right about like this team needing like it needs to have better cohesion. But I don't think like I get so mad at Domi for not shooting. You know, like there's twice tonight where I'm screaming at the TV because he has a like clear opportunity and he's not taking it. So like it's a bit of both, man. I think it is more of like a cohesion thing, not necessarily like what players. And and I will agree that Bobby McMahon looks way better like down the lineup. Like he's a trigger man. He's a guy that can create his own opportunity as well. And like I feel like having Matthews and him, like Marner has to have the best game of his entire career to be able to facilitate both those guys. And so I think that is the wrong guy, and you should try something else there. And that's where like, you know, like Nyes is a more of a guy who gets into the dirty areas
Fits
than
in
Bobby
well there.
McMahon is. And yeah, I think he's perfect there. But in the meantime, yeah, why don't you have Domi there? Like Domi's not doing anything else. Like I just feel like switch it up. And especially on a night where you need a little bit of like something special to get a goal, I think that would have been a good good choice. But like another thing that I just get like kind of scared of with this team, and I will answer about Kaprizov, but give me a second. It's just like this team is just like mid at everything. You know, like for the longest time, I'm looking at like, because I go and look at like their record and their standing a lot, and it throws it in my face where they are goals for percentage, goals against percentage, power play, and PK. And they're all right in the middle of the league. And if you go through any other team that's leading their division, they're like, they have something special about their team. They either have a killer power play, they're killer, like they have amazing offense, 5-on-5, they're really good defensively. Well, I guess that's another thing. They're not getting great goaltending right now. But listen to my point though, is like you look at like the teams in the top 2 of any other division, and they have something special about them. And this team is just kind of like, they've been getting by on really great goaltending, like being able to squeak out 2-1 wins, 4-3, 3-1. They went on a really good streak of not playing amazing hockey, but being able to get wins. And like, I'm getting a little worried that it's a bit of, is it all catching up to us? You know? And like, yes, you're not getting the amazing goaltending anymore. And like, you lose a little bit of offense in John Tavares and Nyes, maybe a little bit more than a little bit. And then it all kind of goes to shit because like you're riding such this fine line the whole time. So. Yeah, Kaprizov not being in the lineup.
The Leafs,
teams, they're a good team.
Sorry, I'm just going to finish my thought there for a second. CP.
Go ahead.
The Leafs, they don't have that either. It's they're 8th, so in team save percentage. So no, that's not their thing either. I was thinking maybe they're top 2 or 3 in the league in that. No, they're not. They're not top 2 or 3 in the league in anything. So anyways,
I mean, are they top 2 or 3 when
do you think it evens it out?
Standing on his head?
I think he will
Kaprizov.
be.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like I do think this team can have something special in net when Wall's not getting such a high load, and you can like get they're both playing more of an equal share. And like I think that goaltending might be this team's thing, and like that's crazy to think, but like that's not what you want to lean on going into the playoffs. Just like our goalie's gonna stand on his head. Watch it, So,
and I mean, like I don't know. You could look at. I don't know, maybe shots against and stuff too. Like, I don't know, maybe like, I just think, go ahead with the Kaprizov though.
I think Minnesota's a better team than just Kaprizov. Like, they play a pretty good whole team together. There's a lot of guys on that team that make plays that just like, I feel like shouldn't. Like Middleton, I don't think should ever be backhand saucing through the zone, but somehow he did tonight. And so like, there are like, I don't know, they play a good team game. I kind of like low key like Minnesota just because like, the only thing they got going for them is like Kaprizov and like Brock Faber in the future, like Matt Boldy, but like they're just lacking so much star power, but they seem to play pretty good as a squad,
But so you don't think that the Kaprizov to John Tavares loss, equals out that we shouldn't even consider the fact that John Tavares is out. Because it's kind of like they lost their star as well. Now it's even kind of Kaprizov's better than Tavares, is he not?
Oh yeah, big time. I think but it's a little bit like what I was just saying. Like if a team's riding the line of like just squeaking out wins and everything, and you're losing multiple things at once. Like, do I think Stolars and Tavares and Nyes equals Kaprizov? Probably. Like put all 3 of those guys together, and it equals their star player.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's fair. So then both teams were even tonight, and the Leafs still lost 2-1. So Minnesota's still a better team than the Leafs. That's not what you're telling me?
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
would I be scared? Really should be taking this seriously? Like, maybe they didn't try hard enough. Maybe they're missing something. Maybe there's something wrong. Should we be panicking?
Well, I don't know. Like, I think that I'm panicking a little bit, but at the same time, like our star players have to be our star players. We are missing one of them, and like Matthews and Marner need to be like a big part of it. It's just that is what it is. And like I felt like if you're looking at this team, like Matthews is having by far the worst season of our star players, and that can't be the team, the team that we're like that's gonna be like great. And so, like, I don't know, like, are they better than us on our best day? Like, no, not even close. But, like, just midweek, is Minnesota better than us on average? Probably. They probably
actually no, because Minnesota didn't even score the game-winning goal. Austin Matthews did.
That's pretty funny, actually.
Speaking of Austin Matthews,
Yeah,
yeah, Miller
it was a
posted in the
great tip.
comments. Don Cherry would have had a fit on the Matthews tip.
Yeah,
Did you
definitely.
actually get a peek at that? Because I know you were working late there tonight. Did
Yeah,
you see that goal go in? Yeah.
yeah. Like, I mean, it was beautiful. Just like from basically bar level to be a 5-hole shot. Like, I mean, that's what tips are made of. So, I mean, but the same, like,
Yeah,
it was a
he
weird
just
bouncing
nailed it.
puck too. Yeah, it just crushed it.
Just out yeah, absolutely lethal hands. It doesn't even matter. He's trying to stop it in his own end. His hands are just too lethal. He's going to tip it past the goalie. It's going to be the dirtiest flip in. Of course, Austin Matthews.
Yeah.
So we had Minton, Patches, Robertson line for a bit tonight. They played 6 minutes and 40 seconds together. They had a few moments. Did you see anything back with Max Patches that feels like he should be anywhere in that lineup though right now?
No. I mean, he's just two different guys, man. Like, I don't know. This guy's just whatever. Like, he's not physical.
Yeah.
He isn't fast. He's not getting scoring opportunities. I don't know. Like, it's what
You know, he's like 3 games away from that bonus, eh?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, like the bonus only affects us next year. That's the stupid thing. Is like if he just like isn't effective for our team for the rest of the season, he's not in the playoff lineup. But like there's $2 million off the cap next year because of that. Like, yeah, that's gonna be super disappointing. So
super disappointing. But you know, I don't know who else you even put there. We also had Fraser Minton play with Willie and Pacioretty for just 1 or 2 shifts. But I've got a minute of time here. They are 100% for everything. So when those 3 were out there, Pacioretty, Minton, and Nylander, they had the puck the entire minute that they were on the ice together.
Oh my God.
That's impressive.
I mean, that tells me that they're the best line in hockey. So sample size matters. So 1 minute, I'm not going to take anything from that. But Minton, I like his game. I do think he's a pretty good player, but like I think that he would look way better if you were like putting him on a third line that looked decent before he got there. You know, like when you're trying to create a third line and create chemistry and you're putting in a guy that's still learning how to play in the NHL, like it's a tough spot for a guy. Like it's easier to slot in somewhere that like already has something going, and we just don't have that. So, I think that he has good moments. He didn't have any of those like standout like you're like a kid here kind of moments tonight, which is good. Like he's a guy that I think if you notice him, like the less you notice him, probably the better that he played. So. But yeah, he definitely like he sneaks up on you kind of in the offensive side of things. Like I still have no idea what this guy is going to be like at the like peak of his career. If he's like just a 4th line guy who can fill in on a 3rd line, or if he's like a 2nd or 3rd line guy, you know. So I don't know. There's definitely he's a smart kid. So like I think we're gonna see improvement from him for sure.
I totally agree. And Liam Ogren played on the other side. He was also drafted this same year, and that was who I wanted the least to take in the year they got Minton. He was drafted 19th overall by Minnesota. But he was in the game tonight too, and I noticed his name right away, and I'm thinking like, oh, it's funny how that works out. Minton was taken like what 31st overall or something like 33rd, or I can't even remember what it was.
I think he's technically a second round. I think he's
early second.
Yeah, I think
I don't know.
I can't remember though.
Something like that.
I do know
it's
that
funny.
they
both ended up playing in the same game.
Yeah. There's a guy in that draft that I wanted them. Something Misty something, I think his name was. Quentin Musty, that's what it was. Yeah. But I don't think he's ever seen a day in the NHL yet. So it's how the draft goes. But yeah, good to see. I mean, like the draft after I think 10 is kind of like there's no guarantees, obviously. So when you have 2 guys in the same game from you know a draft not that long ago, like that's pretty good. But like I think seeing we had a dip in prospects because of the the COVID situation and canceled seasons, like I feel like prospects just took a big hit, and you're seeing that kind of in the top end of the drafts. Like the top tens aren't really as dominant as they should be from those years. So I think we're kind of seeing a swing out of that, and we're getting better information and like the better development from these kids. So yeah.
All right. Well, do you have anything else you want to cover from the Wild and the Leafs tonight and this 2-1 loss before we wrap it up and get the F out of Dodge?
I do want to say that I'm just so hard for JT Miller, and I want that guy on this team.
3-1. I said 2-1 twice. Jesus.
Yeah. I literally
You want JT
like,
Miller.
Yeah, I would give up all of our prospects for that dude on this team. And it's crazy because like the dude is only being kind of kicked out of there because he's demanding things from his teammates, and they're a little too soft to take it. And so like I just feel like this team
So
needs
you
a
want
little
to have this
shot
conversation?
Of yeah,
if
I do.
JT Miller comes here, Mitch Marner's gone.
No way. Why?
100%. There's no way. Him throwing his gloves, acting like a baby, like
next
Willie
year,
calling out Matthews even and Marner, and like I don't know. Like I think Willie's cool. We all thought Willie was the soft one because he's a pretty boy. I think he might be the toughest one out of the three of them, and I'm not sure that they could handle a JT Miller in the room.
Man, it's survival of the fittest now, and like things aren't working. If you can't take it, if you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. And so, like, bring in a guy.
I think he would just sign it in a different kitchen for another $14 million a year and not care. And like,
I would take that swap.
I think that'd be it.
Yeah, like you go for it this year, and like I take a guy like JT Miller on this team, and if Marner wants to walk, like go walk, bud. But like, look what we just brought in. It's a guy with fire and fight. It's because you can't do it. And so, like, I don't know, ship off Morgan Riley.
But as long as you're willing to do that, you have to be willing to accept that if you're going to have JT Miller in this fire and his fight and his attitude, that he's probably not going to mix with some people in this room, probably namely the people who are a little more like you'd think Elias Pettersson has been projected, a little more self-centered, a little more me, which is a little more Mitch Marner that we see. We love Mitch. Mitch is a great player. Not sure I'd ever hang out with the dude. Like, I don't know if he's really that cool. Like, don't know. Haven't met him in person. But he seems like he's been portrayed in that way. And especially what we've seen from his body language. And, I just think that he probably would be having a fit, especially what we see in the media. Like, I don't know. I couldn't see those two blending. But if you're willing to give up a Mitch Marner and not in a trade, but willing to just let him walk because you want this guy on the team instead, what's Miller got left on his contract? Like 3 years, 4 years left? Like
5
years left on his deal. So like, yeah, Mitch Marner's gone. Like, I don't like if you take Miller at that price, like it's over. Like that,
man, he's at such a deal. He's makes 7.5. You ship out Riley and it's even. They're the exact same money and years. This isn't new. Like I'm not just coming up with this. I heard it on Kipper and Bourne. The like 10 minutes I heard. But like, man, it's exactly even. He's a guy from Vancouver. I've never heard Kipper come up with anything smarter in my life. And like, I think it's just gonna happen. I just don't. He's also
why does Vancouver want
Darcy
Riley? How does that
Tucker
make them better? How does having a $7.5 million guy who's not playing his best on your left wing when you're trying to be better good for Vancouver? Well, it's going to cost a hell of a lot more. It's going to cost, dude. Like I don't think they want Morgan Riley. So if we want them to take Morgan Riley to even up the salary, then it's going to cost us even more for them to eat that. So I just don't think Morgan Riley's the one going out the door. I just don't think it's going to happen.
You don't think Riley, Cowan, and Minton would be enough? Like I don't it's not enough if they don't want prospects.
You have to think that's it, I guess, if they don't want prospects too. But it's also if they don't want to eat that 7.5. What do they do with Riley?
Well,
you don't want to pay $7.5 million for your second line. Like he can't play with Quinn Hughes. They're both left-handed. Neither one of them.
He's a
right
perfect
side.
second line left defenseman for them.
Center,
yeah,
maybe
not
he
center.
Could be our second line center.
I mean, he could probably be our third line left winger.
We should just get him on faceoffs and see how the fuck that works out because it ain't working out in the back end.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going for JT Miller. I just don't see the Canucks seeing enough value and for what it works for them. I think they want something. I think they want a center back themselves. I think everybody wants a center. I think everybody wants a center and a right D.
The only thing is like they turned down Zibanejad. And like for me, that would be a pretty good starting spot if you wanted a guy who's just like pretty decent at the moment. So that signals to me they want younger. Otherwise, like that would have been a good spot.
Future.
Yeah. So I don't know if like I'm spitballing here, and it is kind of like a leap, but like guy that's like couldn't be more like if you're looking around the league, you want a guy like Darcy Tucker or Doug Gilmore, Wendell Clark. It's JT Miller. And I think Leaf fans would just friggin' love that dude. I know Vancouver's a big market, but he's still hidden a little bit. And I just think that this fan base would love him. And if Marner had to walk because he couldn't handle it, it is what it is. And I think Matthews would love him because JT Miller's biggest thing is being he wants everyone in the gym. He wants everybody to show up into camp in shape. He always destroys all the physicality tests, and so Matthews I think would get along great with him. He's the guy who works hard. Matthews' body's the only thing that holds him back. So yeah, I think it would be amazing. It would never happen just because the NHL sucks. But yeah, it'd be perfect. He's also a Brad Treliving type of guy, come on, Brad, go get your kind of guy.
And you know what? He's probably done lots of deals with Vancouver before.
Yeah.
Being in Calgary. He's
stolen a lot of Vancouver players. So, yeah. I think he watches their game.
Going on out in Vancouver.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe you're onto something, but I don't see Morgan Riley being the guy to go out. But there is salary that still could be moved and still potentially fit that money in somehow, some way. Maybe, I don't know. We'd have to work that up.
It's pretty tough with Morgan Riley.
It would be tough. Or maybe you move Morgan to somebody else. You pay to move Morgan to somebody else even.
I don't think you have to pay to get rid of him. I think the team would want him. It's just they would accept that it's a bit of an overpay. But
if you could get Miller for, your prospects and a pick or something, a prospect and a pick, and what's holding you back's Riley, and they want you to pay astronomically, and you can just get a fourth for him or a fifth, then you just trade him away for nothing. Yeah.
Honestly, though, the one thing holding us back, just because everybody on the Leafs has one, is he's got a no trade clause, a full no move.
Got one.
Isn't it crazy that
like buttholes?
Yeah. Friggin', I can't. What's his name? Rantanen. He has only a 15 name no trade, and David Kampf has that on the Leafs.
Yeah,
it's just
David
ridiculous.
Kampf, our fourth line center, makes $2.5 million and has a no fucking trade clause. The $2.5 million should negate the no trade clause.
100%. Yeah,
but yeah, there you go. Anyways, let's wrap this sucker up. That was the Leafs' last home game until February 22nd. That's 25 motherfucking days from now. So they go on the road, and then we have the Four Nations tournament coming up, and then they're still on the road, and then they come back home. So we play the Oilers next. We got a 7 o'clock game on Saturday, thankfully, since we're out west. We haven't hit our Western road trip yet, and I am certainly not looking forward to this because we got the Flames on Tuesday and the Kraken on Thursday, 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock games. And then, have we even been in California yet? I feel like we haven't been to California yet.
Yeah, so, I'm not sure we have. We've been kind of spoiled with the times.
California's in March, I think, and we're pretty much fucked. So
yeah, nice. Goodbye,
It's
sleep.
been good while it lasted. But anyways, we'll be back after the Oilers game. Thanks for tuning in. If you're still listening to Split the Defense, Leafs post game presented by Laforest Electrical Contractors, serving the Kingston and surrounding area since 2004. Leave us a comment, hit that like button, and until next time, peace.
Later.
Follow the boys on Twitter at STDPWebby, at Craig D. Pearce, and at Ted_is_show.